In the world of bourbon right now, a lot of things are going on. Republic's leaving California. Willett has a new partnership going on, and a Pappy Van Winkle single barrel just was sold at auction. So, ton of things going on I wanted to talk about with you guys. So, let's get into it. Welcome back. My name is Zach. I normally have Dave with me, but he's enjoying his best life right now on a golf vacation out in Utah. So hope, Dave, you're having a good time and that I'm extremely jealous. But anyways, it's just me today, and there is a bunch of bourbon stuff I want to talk about. And I kind of felt like just putting it out here on video because why not, right? Most of you all probably already know about a bunch of this stuff, but I just had some thoughts and comments about it. I just kind of want to put it to video. But before we start, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notifications button. YouTube's been doing an awesome job growing during the summer. So it's all because of you guys. We love and appreciate you guys. But check us out on Patreon. We do have some single barrels coming up. This single barrel over here for O'Louisville should be getting ready to drop like next week. And then we just did a Still Austin pick, and you can hear all about that on our Discord and Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, all of that kind of fun stuff. So check us out. Give us a follow, and love to have you. The first one I want to talk about, if you go to fredminnick.com, which if you don't know who Fred is, you need to just go look him up right now. He's one of those prominent people when it comes to, tastings and tasting notes and reviewing whiskey and stuff like that in the industry. Ton of knowledge, great author, all that fun stuff. So, but on his website, they publish that the winner for the Pappy Van Winkle 15-year single barrel auction. So if you all remember, a couple months ago, they did this big auction. It was to provide funds for the World Central Kitchen and another rally. Basically, the two charities that benefited from this. And the auction for the Van Winkle single barrel went for $800,000, which is a lot. Some fun things to know about. So on average, that yield should be around 125 bottles. So if you do the math, it's like what? Off the top of my head, 6,500, something like that. And the cool thing about this is the people who won it was a collective of prominent bourbon enthusiasts led by Michael Hines. If you don't know who that is one of the owners of National Barrel Company. Super cool dude. Him and Casey, Casey, by the way, shout out. I'm assuming you're one of them. So I'm just now registering that as I'm speaking all of this out loud. Know Casey a little bit. Good dude. But overall, it's kind of cool because that group wins a lot of them. To be fair, they've won a Four Roses. I think they've won a Willett maybe. But they've won a couple big ones in the past. But it's super cool to see distilleries step up and to do these kind of charity things. And I can't imagine the experience they're getting ready to get for it. I just think it's super cool because of all of that. The other thing I do want to talk about is, if you all remember that auction, I think at one point in time got over $1 million. So some people are like, well, why did it go down to 800? My guess would be is that people weren't verified beforehand. I'm guessing there's probably some schmuck that just said, I'll spend $1 million on this. And then once you go through the auction process, you have to get verified, and you have to verify funds. You have to show that you have funds for this kind of stuff. My guess is they didn't have funds for that. So, but I just thought that was kind of interesting, kind of cool. I love the idea of charity work. Dave and I have done a ton of charity work in the past. Love the idea of supporting that. And, it's not hard for one of these big distilleries, Buffalo Trace, Heaven Hill, Four Roses, whoever, donate a couple ultra age, high proof single barrels. It's nothing to them, and it does that kind of stuff. So good for you all, good for them, and congrats to Michael Hines and the whole group that won. I imagine it's probably going to be a banger. All right, in the next one, Willett Distillery and Bender Stash has announced a partnership where basically Bender is going to be partnering with Willett. They will be getting access to barrels from Willett. They will also be getting access to basically their bottling facility, and I think some distribution stuff, not only in the country but globally. Sounds like from what I was reading in the article, I think it was Food and Wine. They basically had a conversation, if I recall correctly, over, I don't know if it was how to wax or how to do something with the bottle itself or whatever. And Drew just basically told Bender, like, yeah, dude, I can try to do that and fix that. And then it just evolved from there. It's like, hey, we can help bottle for you. Hey, we can just sell you some barrels that we have here. To me, it kind of honestly sounds like a really good pairing, how it's going to work. I don't know either one of them, so I can't speak. I've never talked to them about any of this kind of stuff, so I don't act like I know. I'm just kind of guessing and speculating here. But, you know, Willet produces a lot more than what people think. You know, most of the time when people think of Willet, they think of two things. Think of purple tops, and they think of pot still. Just like the two things come to mind, right? Well, they actually produce, I think, a lot more whiskey than people would understand. So my guess is that they have experimented with a lot of different mash bills and stuff. Like, you know, we just saw like the 8-year Willet that came out. You know, I think it wasn't bad. It was just too overpriced, right? But I think if you put that in something like a Bender stash, that's a lot different. Like, I think that, because that's a premium line, and that is for, you know, that's, you know, it's just for a different crowd of bourbon drinkers. Not that it's a bad thing. It's most of it's been good from what I've tried. So, but I think with the ultra enthusiasts, the ultra premium brands such as Willet and then Bender stuff, I think it's actually like a really good kind of partnership. And most of the time I don't always say that about whenever I see brands or whatever kind of meaning, I'm like, what are you doing here? But I actually kind of think that works. Like, basically, if I'm Willet and I think this is really good stuff, but doesn't fit the profile of what we want for a purple top, and Bender does think it fits his stuff, plus you get access to their bottling line. Like, they have like a reputation, like their bottling line's like top notch. I don't know anything about it, but that's just from what I've read and talked to a few industry people. So overall, I think it's kind of a cool thing. You know, I'm always about good single barrels hitting the market. I'm always about, you know, brands being able to grow and evolve and everything else, because it's just healthy all around the whiskey industry, honestly. So I think it's cool. I look forward to it. I have a lot of friends who are super excited about it. And overall, it kind of seems like a perfect kind of fit for both of them, which, you know, congrats to you too. So, all right. And lastly, let's talk about something a little bit more serious. First two topics were kind of fun, new things. But I think they're the second biggest distributor in the country now. RNDC just announced that they are basically withdrawing from California, which I can't imagine a distributor wanting to voluntarily just like leave. I don't know if they're the biggest state when it comes to distribution. I don't know all this stuff, but I would think they'd have to be 2 or 3 at worst. So, but they're apparently leaving California. There's some other reports they might leave Texas. There's some other reports they might leave other states towards the western side of the United States. They've had a tough couple of years. Like, you know, you lose Sazerac, you know, you lose Tito's, our country's like biggest selling vodka, maybe the biggest selling spirit in the country would probably be my guess, one of them. Now they've lost Brown-Forman. That's a huge thing. Cause, you know, you have like all the off brands, like the tequilas and the vodkas of Brown-Forman, but like, you don't think of like Jack Daniels as like the biggest, if they're not the biggest whiskey seller, they are one of the top 5 biggest whiskey sellers. Old Forester, Woodford, just all these things, just taking shots left and right. And, you know, I feel bad because I have some friends over there at Republic and I really like them individually. I think they're really good dudes. And so I really hate to see all this. I know they're freaking out about it, after losing Brown-Forman. So I get it. Like, you know, it's tough, right? And I feel for them. I hate it for them. But from talking to people that work in the industry, I don't think a lot of people have a lot of love lost for Republic. Sounds like brands mostly. I don't talk to other distributors. Really, I don't know anybody who works for Southern or anybody else like that. It sounds like from talking to other distilleries that I've heard or who have had contact with them or had dealings with them in the past, hasn't been the greatest. So I think they're kind of like, yeah, not surprised to see this coming just with how they are. But this kind of goes back to the 3-tier system on how, it's funny, if you talk to people in the industry, you'll see the people who hate it, and then you'll actually see some people who really like it. The 3-tier system's really complicated. If you all actually want me to do a video over it, I don't know how well the video would do, but if y'all just want me to explain it a little bit more, I can. I'll talk about some of the good things, some of the bad things with it, and honestly where I think some of that will go in the future. Because I think brands are just literally pumping money in to tear it down, and Sazerac being one of them. It's, again, it's an interesting time because I think brands are going to try to figure out how to get around it, and I don't know what Republic's going to do. I don't know if they're going to go away. I don't imagine they're going to go away, but like these distributors, by the way, for you guys who don't know, they're very, very like powerful in a lot of ways because, they just take whatever they take off top of these brands, if it's 15, 20, 30%. And then they just kind of tell the brands, hey, you got to market, hey, you got to sell it, blah, 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 blah. Now, some of the big accounts probably get taken care of more because they're just pumping in so much money into these. But it's a racket. Like you can make a lot of money being a distributor. If you look up Forbes top 500, you'll see some of those companies in there and you're like, wow, like they are really making hand over fist on some of this stuff. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. It'll be interesting to see who picks up a lot of these brands out in California or what happens, or if some of these brands will just try to figure out how to manage it themselves. So I don't know. Again, to my friends who work for Republic, sorry, I hate to hear that. I think there's gonna be some big changes coming. Maybe not now, maybe not in the next 6 months to a year, but I bet you over the next few years, we see a pretty big change with the 3-tier system. So that is everything. Talked about some fun stuff. Talked about a little bit of a sad story with Republic because that might be going away. Not in the sense of Republic going away, just jobs going away potentially. But with all that being said, we appreciate you all stopping by. Please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, notifications button. Check us out on Patreon and Instagram, TikTok, all those kind of fun things. We're kind of a little bit of everywhere. And yeah, until next time, we'll see you.